Once upon a time, there was an elderly man named Old Wang who lived by a quiet, peaceful river. With a heart full of hope and determination, he decided to start his own chicken farm. The farm was modest, nestled beside the riverbank, surrounded by tall grass and the sweet scent of the earth. It was a simple life, one that he believed would bring him some joy and, of course, a bit of income. However, things didn't go as smoothly as he had hoped. For months, Old Wang found himself struggling. He would wake up early in the morning to tend to the chickens, feed them, and ensure they were healthy. But despite his best efforts, the business remained slow. Few customers came by, and those who did seemed indifferent to the farm. Old Wang tried everything he could think of, discounts, better feed, new coops, but nothing seemed to draw in the crowds he needed. It seemed as though his dream of a successful chicken farm was slipping away. One day, as Old Wang sat on a small bench near his farm, feeling both tired and disheartened, a man approached him. This man, unlike most of the others, didn't seem to be a customer. He was dressed in simple clothes and had an air of wisdom about him. His name was Mr. Li, and he worked as the gatekeeper at a nearby estate. Old Wang had never really spoken to him before, but Mr. Li had always been friendly when they crossed paths. "Old Wang," Mr. Li said with a knowing smile, "I've been watching you for a while. I can tell you're a good man, but I think you're missing a little something. Your farm could be thriving if only you had a different approach." Old Wang, tired and frustrated, sighed. "I've tried everything I know, but nothing works. I've lowered my prices, advertised my chickens, and even tried giving free eggs away. Yet still, customers won't come. Maybe this was just a bad idea from the start." Mr. Li chuckled softly and sat down beside him. "I think I might have an idea to help you, but it's a little unconventional, so you'll need to be open to it." Old Wang, curious and desperate for a solution, leaned in. "Tell me, Mr. Li, what do you have in mind?" Mr. Li's eyes sparkled with mischief, as if he were about to reveal a secret that could change everything. "Why don't you turn your chicken farm into something else? A fishing pond. You could put up a sign at the entrance that says new fishing pond open, entry fee 100 yuan. But here's the twist. Anyone who doesn't catch a fish gets a free chicken." Old Wang looked at him, puzzled. "A fishing pond? But I don't have any fish here." Mr. Li smiled knowingly. But you do have something that can work just as well. Your chickens. The idea is simple. People will come for the fishing thinking they'll have a nice time by the river, and when they don't catch anything, they'll leave happy because they get a free chicken in return. It's a win-win for them, and you'll be giving away something that doesn't cost you much. Old Wang scratched his head, unsure. "But what about the fishing part? People will expect to catch fish. Won't they be disappointed?" Mr. Li waved off the concern. "You'd be surprised. Most people go fishing more for the experience than the actual catch. They'll come for the peaceful setting, the calm of the river, and the hope of a catch. The free chicken is just a bonus." Old Wang thought about it for a moment. It was a strange idea, but he was running out of options. Perhaps this unconventional plan was worth trying. He agreed to give it a go. The next day, Old Wang set up the sign as Mr. Li had suggested. New fishing pond open, entry fee 100 yuan. Anyone who doesn't catch a fish gets a free chicken. He wasn't sure what to expect, but he hung the sign with a mixture of hope and doubt in his heart. To his surprise, people started coming. The first group of visitors, a family of 3, arrived early in the morning, excited to try their luck at fishing. They paid the 100 yuan fee and set up by the riverbank, poles in hand. Hours passed, and though they cast their lines repeatedly, no one caught a thing. After a while, the family began to grumble, but Old Wang, with a kind smile, came over with 3 chickens in tow. "Since you didn't catch any fish, please take these chickens instead," he said with a twinkle in his eye. The family, initially shocked, couldn't help but laugh. "Well, that's certainly a first," the father said, taking the chickens. "Thank you, Old Wang. You're a generous man." The family left with their chickens, and by midday word had spread. More people showed up, all eager to try their luck at fishing. Most, of course, left with a chicken in hand, their baskets empty of fish, but full of unexpected poultry. As the days went by, more and more people came to Old Wang's fishing pond. Some brought their friends, others brought their children, and a few even came back again, just to try and fish, even though they knew the chances were slim. Old Wang's chickens became a coveted prize, and before long, the visitors started talking about how kind and fair Old Wang was, offering not only a fun day out by the river, also the chance to take home a chicken if they weren't so lucky. One evening, as Old Wang sat on his bench watching the sunset over the river, Mr. Li came by again. Old Wang waved him over and smiled, his face now much brighter than it had been just weeks ago. "Mr. Li," he said with gratitude in his voice, "I can't believe how well this idea worked. The farm is thriving now, and people are praising me for my generosity. You were right. It's all about creating an experience, not just selling a product." Mr. Li chuckled and nodded. "I'm glad it worked for you, Old Wang. Sometimes the key to success is thinking outside the box. You gave people something they didn't expect, and in return, they gave you their business." From that day forward, Old Wang's chicken farm flourished. People came from all over to visit his fishing pond, and no one ever left without a smile on their face, whether they caught fish or not. His reputation as a fair and kind man spread, and his chickens were more popular than ever. Old Wang learned that success didn't always come from traditional methods. Sometimes a little creativity and kindness were all it took to turn things around. And so, the old man by the river, with his chickens and his clever idea, lived out his days with a full farm, a happy heart, and a never-ending supply of fishless, but very happy customers. The moral of the story is that sometimes success comes from thinking outside the box and embracing unconventional ideas. By being creative and offering something unexpected, Old Wang was able to turn his struggling chicken farm into a thriving business. The story teaches us that a little ingenuity, kindness, and adaptability can lead to unexpected rewards. It also highlights the importance of providing value and creating positive experiences for others, which can bring success in the long run. If you like more stories like this, please hit the like and subscribe button, and I love to hear your comments.